Working as a private chef, quite often my clients are looking for swap outs or healthier alternatives. Now when it comes to almonds, that is an ideal food. Not only is it healthy and loaded with protein and nutrients, but it can also be a great dairy substitute. So you might look at almonds and go, well, there's so many different kinds and what exactly do I do with them? No worries. I'm Danielle Alex and I'm here to tell you everything you need to know about almonds. Almonds are the seeds of a fruit tree. It's related to the rose family. Now when it comes to almonds, there are two types. There's the bitter and the sweet. We eat the sweet kind. The bitter ones are used for making almond extract. If you were to eat bitter ones, they're actually quite poisonous. So if you ever find them out in the wild, don't attempt it. But here I want to show you what you'll quite often find in the store. The first one you'll notice is your traditional whole almond. The shell has been removed, but the skin is still on. These ones are raw. And then if you move over, you can see that these ones are sliced. Sliced almonds, you can find them blanched or with the skin on. These have the skin on, so you'll notice that there are darker brown pieces around it. And next we have slivered almonds. Slivered almonds, you'll almost always find them blanched. They're kind of chunkier pieces that are sliced down the middle of the almond. And then of course there's almond meal or almond flour. Now, the difference between the two of them is kind of interchangeable nowadays. Sometimes you'll see packaging or label that says flour/meal, and it's the same thing. It's so versatile, you can do many things with it. But you have to understand, you can't do just a simple swap out for, like, say, all-purpose flour with almond flour, just because it doesn't have the same ability to, say, absorb a lot of the moisture. And of course, the protein's different, and so is the fat content. However, when it comes to things like almond financier, like little tea cookies, it is wonderful. The texture is fine. You know, you use the eggs and it's nice and buttery. Now I've taken some of my whole raw almonds and I've decided to roast them. I love roasting them at home because I feel like the roasted flavor is a lot more pronounced when I do it at home. And plus it makes the house smell wonderful. I turn the oven on 350 degrees and I roast them for about 8 minutes. So you'll notice that the skin is actually a little darker in the roasted and it's starting to pull back from the almond itself. I'm gonna go ahead and take my almonds and make some homemade almond butter. Believe me, don't get intimidated, it's really easy. I'm gonna place them in the food processor. Now I'm gonna add a pinch of salt. I'm gonna pulse my almonds a few times and then I'm gonna let it run for about 5 minutes until the almond butter is smooth. So come closer because I want you to see this. As I open this, look how that has changed. You can tell it's nice and smooth and has come together. I still want it a little more smooth, so I'm gonna add a touch of honey for sweetness, and I'm gonna add a little bit of oil, just enough to get it to spread. So now you'll see the texture is different, right? The nice thing about making it at home is A, you know exactly what's in it, and B, you can always add as much or as little, say, sweetener, honey, agave, whatever you'd like, into it as you want. And there you have it, homemade almond butter. This stays fresh in the refrigerator for up to 2 weeks. Now we're gonna move on to homemade almond milk. So I'm gonna grab my raw almonds, and I'm just gonna take a cup. Now I'm just gonna store it in a container, and then I'm gonna cover it with water. And then I'm gonna place this in the refrigerator overnight. And here now, I have some almonds that I soaked last night. You can soak almonds for up to 2 days. Of course, the longer you soak them, the creamier the almond milk is gonna be. So now I'm gonna take this to the sink and I'm gonna drain it, and then we're gonna add it to our blender. So now I'm gonna place these in the blender, and I'm adding 2 cups of fresh water. And you can always add a touch of honey or dates if you like it a little sweeter. Our almond milk is now blended. So I'm gonna remove the top, and I have a strainer here with some cheesecloth. This is just gonna catch any extra solids, especially the skin that was on the outside. Sometimes this takes a little bit of elbow grease. You know, you gotta make sure that you Squeeze this cheesecloth so you get all the liquid out. This is what we call milking the almonds, right? Almond milk. Believe me, it's worth it. That's really good. And I know exactly what's in it, right? Almonds, water, and honey. And if you want to store your almond milk for later, you can store it in an airtight container for up to 4 days in the refrigerator. And now you've learned everything you need to know about almonds.